Hello and welcome all you wonderful people back again to the Art of Thomas podcast video show in which I talk about all the posts that I'm writing, my articles for the artofthomas.wordpress.com, Thomas with no H because it comes from the Spanish pronunciation of the name, which is Tomas, but irrespective, just the artofthomas.wordpress.com, Thomas, Tomas, no H. You can, well, since we're at it, you can also sign into the Substack, artofthomas.substack.com, and there you can get all my articles straight to your emails if that's what you'd like. Anyway, the last article I wrote was about D.A.Os, what they are, and why are they so important. As I enjoy my afternoon coffee. Anyway, what are D.A.Os? For those of you who don't know, a D.A.O, D.A.O, means Decentralized Autonomous Organizations. And I think, well, first of all, this is something that's very new. It's only been happening for a few years, but it's spreading extremely quickly. And I think it's so important for people to understand what they are, how they work, because I believe that they are the blueprint of how many aspects of our society will work. I don't think everything's going to be turned into a D.A.O, but a lot of stuff most likely will. And that's going to be great for those who recognize the trend early and take advantage of that. Unfortunately, those who don't are going to find it a lot more difficult to adapt to what's coming. And that's why I create this content, just to help people realize what's happening in the world. Because I believe that you can only make the right decisions if you have the right information of what is happening in the world. So anyway, let's go deep into what is actually a D.A.O. What is a decentralized autonomous organization? So anyway, just by the name alone, you can get the idea that a D.A.O is a governance structure, right? It's a way for lots of people to come together and operate effectively. And these people can be spread around the entire globe. They don't have to be physically together, and they can make decisions and they can effectively run applications, companies, websites, pretty much anything. And the way it works is you issue tokens. For example, Bitcoin is a token, Ethereum is another token. So let's say I create the Art of Thomas D.A.O, right? And I create this token, the Art of Thomas token. Then any wallet that owns the token can vote on proposals on what happens with the Art of Thomas. And they can propose changes to the Art of Thomas. And then everybody that has the token can vote. And in that way, we can operate in a decentralized way, because where everybody is spread out, but we all have the power to vote on changes and to propose different changes. Now, I'm going to give you some examples so that it is easier to understand. And for my first example, let's look at Spotify, okay? Spotify is a regular company. It has a CEO. It has all the people that make the application work. It's also a public company, so it has shareholders and people that invest in the company and expect to make a profit in the future. Now, the business model of Spotify is they sell and rent the platform for artists to be able to publish their music. And if you're an artist, this is really good because it gives you a way of reaching a massive audience. And if enough people listen to you, you can start earning royalties. So it's good for you as an artist. Now, the trick here is that Spotify as a company needs to make enough money to support all the people that are working in the company. This, again, the CEO and all the people that are making it happen. And also the main responsibility of Spotify is not for the artists and the users of the platform, but it's to their shareholders. That's who they answer to. So that's I call it the legacy company structure. It's what companies used to be like. And for the longest time, that's the only way they could work. But now things change because now we have DAOs. So I'm going to just show you quickly. If you're watching the video, you're going to get a clearer example. If you're just listening to the podcast, I'll try to make it easy to understand for you. But anyway, let's take a look at audios.co. Now, Audios is pretty much the same as Spotify. So you go in, like here, you can see my Art of Thomas page. Here I upload all the podcasts and some music that I make from time to time. And people can jump in and they can stream it just like Spotify. What's the main difference? Well, the main difference is that Audios doesn't have a CEO and doesn't have a traditional company structure behind it. So Audios is a DAO, and people who own the audio token can propose the changes to the platform itself, and they can also vote on which changes should go forward and which changes shouldn't go forward. And the really, really groundbreaking technology is that if enough people listen to my stuff on Audios, I don't earn royalties in dollars. I earn the audio token. So what this means is that I can be a user of the platform. I can then earn the token, meaning I am an owner of the platform because I get to have a say in where the platform goes. And I'm also a shareholder because as the platform does better, the price of the token increases. So we combined all of those elements that used to be separate. You know, Spotify, you have the owners, you have the users, and you have the shareholders. They're all different. Here, everything is one. So that means that the users own the platform. And that is the groundbreaking element that DAOs bring into the table, that before blockchain, before Bitcoin, this would have been impossible. But now it's a reality, it's happening, it already works. And we are seeing more and more DAOs pop up at a faster rate. So I'm going to quickly show you, if you are watching the video, I can go here to the section, the audio rewards. You can see that so far I have earned a total of 0 because my stuff has not been listened to, which is fine. I never expected to go anywhere, but yeah, if you, depending on how many tokens you get, you can reach higher rankings. And this is something that I need to talk about next. But yeah, here you can go to the VIP Discord if you have enough tokens, and you can participate in the governance structure. But yeah, well, first, let's go in order. First, I'm going to show you Another DAO, one which I am actually a part of, I hold some of their token, and this one is called Sovereign. Sovereign is a decentralized exchange. So you can think of as a competitor to something like Coinbase, right? Coinbase has the traditional structure, has a CEO, has shareholders, the whole deal. Now, I used to use Coinbase when I first started in my Bitcoin crypto journey. It was the place that I used to buy my first Bitcoins. However, I have some fundamental disagreement with the way Coinbase ran their company. Specifically, I don't like their policy to start listing meme coins that they don't have a good history. And I think that that's going to drive a lot of people that are starting out and they don't know the difference between the coins, and they're going to lose a lot of money. So that I think that it's going to be good for the company short term, but I think it's going to be bad for the community long term. And that's why I don't like it. But as a user of Coinbase, I have zero voice in how the company operates. And that's why I don't like it. Now in Sovereign, let's go to the DApp. In Sovereign, by using the platform, you earn the SOV token. And if you have the SOV token, you can participate, again, by voting in the governance structure, or even by proposing the changes that you would like to see. Let's take a look at how that works. Because if we go up here in the options, we see the Bitocracy section. You know, it's like Bitcoin with democracy. It's the Bitocracy. Anyway, so the first thing you need to do in Sovereign, they use a very interesting system. Now, you won't be able to see it because I have not connected my wallet. But basically, it's not enough to own the token in the Sovereign app to be able to participate in these things. What you need to do is to lock your token for a certain amount of time. And the longer you lock the token, the more voting power you get from it. And the maximum is 3 years. So this is because the app wants to give more power to the people that are locking their tokens for longer. Because if I'm locking my tokens for 3 years, I am saying in a way, look, I am in this for the long run. I'm not trying to make a quick buck. At least for the next 3 years, I'm not going to be able to take my tokens out. So it's a way of incentivizing and also rewarding people with a longer time frame. Again, these rules, you know, all the DAOs don't work the same way, and they don't all have the same rules. And it's very interesting to see how they all work and how they do different things and which ones are more effective. And that's one of the things that I love, because it's a mixture of democracy and free markets. Why? Well, democracy is because everyone that participates has a way of casting a vote, has a voice in the platform. However, it is not like democracy, meaning that everyone's vote, it's not as powerful, because the more tokens you have, the more voting you get. And in Sovereign's case, the longer you lock your tokens, the more voting power you get from them. So you may have more tokens than me, but if I lock them for longer than you, I might have more voting power, because I'm choosing a longer time frame reference. So my decisions are going to be more long-term based. than yours. So it's an interesting play where we have some elements of democracy, but also we have free markets and competitions, because all the DAOs have different rules and they're all competing against each other, trying to attract the most owners, users, and investors, which are all the same. It's really, really interesting. And it's going to be really hard for me to explain everything into one video. So just use this as an introduction and then start doing your own research, because this is going to be the way most of the new companies, applications, services, everything. This is going to be the way forward. So let me take a sip of my coffee. You know, it's very important to understand one thing, is that each DAO needs their token to be able to vote and participate in the governance. It's a way of making the DAO more resilient, because here's an example. Let's say I created a DAO that is competing with Sovereign, right? So I want Sovereign to do badly because I want people to go to my DAO. So as a defense mechanism, Sovereign created this token that if I want to do bad things to Sovereign, I need to buy a lot of the Sovereign token to get enough of a percentage in the DAO to make the wrong decisions, to try for it to go badly. The problem is that first I need to invest a lot of money in the SOV token. So if I try to actively attack Sovereign from the inside, I'm gonna make the value of the token go down. So it's gonna be really, really expensive. I'm gonna spend a lot of money and I'm gonna lose it all once the value of the token Sovereign goes to zero. And if, again, in the case of Sovereign, I also will have to lock all that value for a long time. So like the structure itself, it's built to be resilient and to protect the holders of the asset. And at the same time, it's a way of attracting the people who are interested in building something for the long term, because you need to be able to lock the token for at least 3 years to get enough voting power to actually have a say in how the application continues on forward. So I think we're going to see a lot of interesting things happening in the space, and we're going to see a ton of DAOs. We're already seeing it happen, and all the DAOs are going to be different, and they're all going to compete against each other. But the crazy thing is that in order to compete, to make themselves more attractive to users, owners, and shareholders, and so investors, and remember, those three things are now the same, it's the same individual. So that means that each DAO will compete into which one is going to be the best for the individuals to adopt, which ones are going to give the most value back to its users, which ones are going to be easier to use, easier to understand, which ones are going to be more decentralized, which ones are going to be most effective. And we are entering into this very strange land where democracy meets free markets and competition. And it's going to be really, really interesting time from here on forward. At the same time, I think we're going to see the power of the government to regulate and to control people's lives is going to start going down as more of our economic interactions go towards these DAO structures and decentralized applications, where it's much harder for the government to track you and to tax you. So yeah, we're going to enter a time where DAOs are going to take a lot more of the way humans organize themselves. And I think it's going to be for the better. I'm going to just show you in Sovereign again. If you're watching the video, this is going to be great because you're going to be able to see it. But if you go to the section titled Finance, you can go to Lend. And you can actually use Sovereign to lend your Bitcoin or lend your stablecoins to people and earn an interest. So I lend you a Bitcoin and you have to give me back 1.2 Bitcoins. And this works in a trustless and safe way, meaning that it is completely safe for me because the person that is taking my Bitcoin has to first offer a collateral that I will get if he doesn't pay me as he's supposed to. So it's safe for me because I'm getting that collateral. And even if he doesn't pay, I'm still getting the collateral. And I don't even need to know who that person is. I don't need to know who that person, where he is in the world. And because it's all decentralized, there's no KYC. Everything is anonymous and autonomous. It happens automatically. So Sovereign is giving us a lot of the value that a bank would give us, but there is no bank. There is nobody in the middle. So all the profit happens peer-to-peer. We, the users, get all the value. And by owning the SOV token, we also get to own the platform itself. It's like we, in fact, end up being the bank itself. It is incredible. It's revolutionary. Of course, it's going to mean that all the people that are currently working in banks, their jobs, a lot of them are going to be in jeopardy because this makes a lot of our current financial structure, it makes it irrelevant. And if you can do the same without the giant structure, it's going to be much better for you as a user. So it's great overall. It's a massive net positive for the world. And I can be lending my money to someone in South Africa, someone in Argentina, and I don't even need to know who they are. It's massive. It's a big, big, big change. And this is going to start happening in everything, not just in banking, but there are games that are now being launched as a DAO. And the people who are using the game, they earn the governance token by playing, and then they get to choose what happens with the game itself and how the profits that the game generates should be used. It's mind-blowing. I understand it might be difficult to understand, especially if this is the first time you're hearing this stuff, but it's something worth taking a deeper look into, because I believe, this is the way things are going. And, for better or for worse, I don't know. I'm trying not to make moral argument. I'm just trying to tell you where things are going, and that we should be ready. We should understand how this technology works, and we should start seeing how we can use it, which DAOs we should start becoming a part of. Because the people who understand this and start using this technology early are the ones who are going to benefit the most once we transition. I believe we're definitely in a period of transition. The new system is already here. The old system, it's starting to collapse. It has not fully collapsed, and it's going to take a while to transition. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen next year. It's probably going to take, I don't know, a decade, 2 decades. I'm not sure. What I do know is that we need to start to pay attention and to adapt ourselves and to start adopting these new technologies, these new structures. At least we need to be aware that they exist and start understanding them so that they don't catch us off guard. I in my article, I mentioned when I was talking about the difference between a DAO and a democracy, where in the DAO, ideally, people won't have the same vote because, if you're odious, for example, the people who have the music that most users listen to, those are going to earn more tokens. They're going to have more voting power. And, I always, in the article, I try to mention like democracy tries to make it everything equal. Everybody gets a vote and all the votes are valued the same. And I made the question, is equality fair? And I think a lot of people would automatically assume that if you want to be fair, everybody should be equal. But I am not so sure, because if you have people that put a lot more work, that are a lot more effective in the way they work, and they generate a lot more, would it be fair that he has the same let's say, power than the people who don't work as hard as him and are not as effective as him, and they don't understand the system as good as him? And again, I'm not trying to say which one is the right answer. I'm just saying that it's something worth thinking about. Is equality fair? And if you're answering the question really quickly, I would suggest just take a little bit more time to think about it, because I don't think the answer should be instantaneous. I think it requires some thinking and pondering. I think it's a deeper question than it appears to be at first glance. And in democracy, the answer is yes, we need equality. That's the main part. In the DAO is no. We're going to make it fair, meaning if you produce more, you get more. If you are more effective, you get more. If you don't work as hard as other people, you won't get as much. And I think, again, not saying good, bad, no. I'm only trying to see what's happening, where things are going, so we can understand where we stand. And I believe the way things are going, it's in that direction. I think we're going to enter a stage. I believe we're transitioning towards this place where those people who work harder and produce more and are more effective are going to end up gaining. They're going to be able to keep most of what they make. And the ability of government to say, no, let's spread the wealth around and let's try to make it more equal, that's going to diminish greatly. So we most likely will enter a time where the wealth divide is going to be deeper than ever. And that is something to think about and to be concerned about. I believe the people who are used to not working as hard, but still getting a lot of the benefits, those people are the ones that are most in danger in this transition. And on the opposite side, the people that are used to working really hard and producing a lot, those people are going to benefit more than ever. I also believe because there's going to be less things in the middle when you're transacting, like we talk about with sovereign, like most of the bank structure is already outdated. When we talk about DAOs, there's a lot of things that are going to change there. So the overall economic activity is going to get a huge boost, because it's not this force, be that the government or our current structures, that are constantly leeching this money in order to create this in order to try and spread things around to make it more equal. That's going to go away. So yes, there is going to be more of a divide in wealth, but also the overall wealth is going to go up by a huge margin. So it's going to be very interesting, and we need to be very aware and very, we gotta keep our eyes open, because things are going to get very different. I think overall it's going to be a net positive, but there are definitely going to be winners and losers in this situation. And that's why I try to make this video, so that people are aware and they can avoid falling into the traps. That's all I'm trying to do here. I'm try as much as possible not to say this is good or this is bad, but rather, hey, this is where things are going. Pay attention, do your own research, and make your own judgments. But yeah, I think learning how DAOs work, understanding this governance structure, is going to be a massive, massive factor to determine these winners and losers. And yeah, I'm definitely paying a lot of attention to this space, and I will continue to do so in the future. I'll try to communicate as much as I can from everything that I'm learning, I'm studying. My only hope is that at least one person will see this and will start to pay attention, and hopefully his life will improve. That's all I want, really, and that's all I'm trying to do. So anyway, this video's been gone for a long time, longer than it should, so I'm just gonna say goodbye. Thank you for watching, listening, paying attention. Have an amazing day, enjoy, and yeah, just keep something to think about. And as we move forward in this direction, it's going to be very interesting times ahead, that is for sure. Anyway, have an amazing day, and hopefully I get to see you in the next one.